Hello, good afternoon. We start with breaking news, and the Prime Minister has travelled to Kyiv for a face-to-face meeting with Ukraine's president. The Ukrainian embassy in London shared this image of the meeting between Boris Johnson and Volodymyr Zelenskyy. It comes after Ukraine demanded a global response to the attack on a train station in Kramatorsk, which killed more than 50 civilians. Downing Street called Mr Johnson's visit a show of solidarity with the Ukrainian people and said the leaders would discuss the UK's long-term support for the country, including financial and military aid. Well, in a moment, we'll be speaking to our political correspondent, Rob Powell, in Westminster. But first, Sky security and defence editor Deborah Haynes is near the presidential palace in Kyiv. And Deborah, what signal is this sending to Vladimir Putin at the moment?
Well, it's a strong signal that Ukraine has strong and powerful backers. The fact that the Prime Minister felt that he could come here to Kyiv more than 6 weeks after Russia's invasion began, an invasion that was meant to topple the government of Volodymyr Zelenskyy within 4 days, according to Western officials, just shows how badly, really, it's gone in terms of Russia's plans, and the fact that the British Prime Minister has the confidence to come here. And he's not the only leader. No one's going to forget the fact that the EU's Commission President came here yesterday. There have been a whole line of, well, not a line, but there's been a small trickle of leaders who've been willing to take the risk of coming here to Kyiv. And the city here has been pretty much transformed over the last few days. Only just over a week ago, there were heavy bombardments, heavy fighting going on in towns and villages around the north and the northwest of the capital, which meant that this capital really did feel pretty close to the front line, but it's a lot calmer at the moment. And so that's probably why you're seeing this sudden surge or a sudden sort of movement of leaders coming. And clearly the Prime Minister wanting to make sure that as other world leaders take the risk to come here, that he, as someone who has been so out in the front in terms of wanting to lead the West's response to Russia's war in Ukraine, that he comes here. He has that FaceTime with President Zelenskyy. The palace actually is just, you can't see it from where I am because there's checkpoints all around, but it's just beyond the buildings behind me. And we understand that the meeting is ongoing. He's had a face-to-face with the Ukrainian president. It's then going to broaden out into a larger bilateral discussion. Items on the agenda, of course, first and foremost is going to be Ukraine's need for weapons. The UK has been very quick to supply Ukraine with lethal aid from weeks before the conflict began. You'll remember those shipments of anti-tank NLAW missiles, and that's been something that the UK has continued to do and to ramp up. And only yesterday they announced another £100 million worth of aid, and also saying they're going to be bringing in Mastiff armoured patrol vehicles. They're vehicles with added protection, a V-shaped hull to protect from landmines that will be used to help the Ukrainian military as they're moving around against Russian forces. They're not fighting vehicles. They're not like tanks, for example, but clearly lots on the agenda and a strong signal, like I said, to Vladimir Putin that Ukraine has allies that are not only willing to speak out in support of the Ukrainian president, but are also willing to actually come here on the ground and see him in person.